Hello, it's your boy Safi Crook coming right at you with the cool hot games and the cool hot jams. I was planning to play The Blob today, but I also got my new headset in. I got The Blob from Discord Nitro, so that's gonna be fun. I just want to play a happy-go-lucky game that's about colors and happiness and everyone being smiling. So let's play this. Still not feeling the boy who wins, as all the cool kids have been calling it. Being the video game boy and the one who wins is a bit outside my reach, I'm afraid. This level contains some of the, can I say, nastier spippers to find. I really, like, man, I'll be honest about this. This game would have benefited so much, just so much, from having a universal ammo counter, so I know what the hell I can shoot with. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. Not great. Still, just, you know. It is not the best of times, but it is also not the blurst of times. It is what we like to call, eh. So this one, just take the drop. It's minimal effort to get back there. Don't forget you move faster when actually using your arrow keys instead of pressing space, so... Don't forget to take a sip! Brilliant. Heck yeah. Oh god, this one sucks. So, let me make this one fun thing clear. One of the notes was that in one of the Gluttonous Gorehouse skulls got slightly tweaked because it was bullshit. It might be this one, because that one's pretty nasty. That's not an easy one to get. I like ham, bacon, and cheese. I like ham, bacon, and cheese. You know what I miss? I miss Pirate Doom. That was a nice little playthrough, wasn't it? Not to say that I've been in a mood where, like, I don't like this game. This game sucks compared... No. I'm saying that from the perspective, you know, I really like Pirate Doom. It had the same kind of feel, which was kind of playful and just kind of, hey, you know, rubbing elbows, kicking people in the balls, and being like, hey, oh. You kind of... Just kind of, you know... Oh yeah, there's another way you can go, which I continuously forget exists. This one's kind of weird. I like this one. It's kind of neat of like how you get one, but yeah. So this one sucks. Because the fucking coin is just go and get yourself killed. I don't like those kinds of coins. They're very... They don't feel very doomish. No. You can close, thank you. Thank you. Oh, hell. I don't know if I'm actually... So, I made a video, or at least I wrote a script for a video, in which I kind of complain about what 5e has been doing, like mechanic decoupling. Decoupling a race and class from the thematic background that they create. What was I talking about again? See, this is what happens when I go away from it. So I have a little script, and in that little... Oh, cool, that's really... That's so well done! Like, you don't notice on the first glance. You really have to look at it close up to see the seams. But, yeah, I wrote a script, and the script is about, mechanical decoupling. So the problem I have with 5e is, in 5e, if you look at how any class set up, they go into a lot of detail as to what the lore of a fucking class is, and I'm like, I don't care. They also have sorcerers who basically are useless. I don't want to talk about the concept of, about the bloodline. Sorcerers aren't classes. They're a race. They're so thematically ingrained with a purpose. There's a reason why I think that it should just go back to the single magic user class. Like, get rid of sorcerers. Or make them something truly interesting. I don't know, maybe let sorcerers pick from any spell list they want. Like, they just have innate powers that transcend. Bam! Now someone can be a blaster. And also give him more spells. Because wizards can prepare 25 fucking spells by level 20. By which point, they are not just more flexible, they also have hundreds of spells. Known. Jesus. Oh, but they can make slots. Yeah, they can make level 5 slots. They can make 2 of them. And then they run out of sorcery points. Great. Or they can just short... Well, I guess they can short rest and they can do 1 more. Because it's 7 for... I don't know. It feels like the sorcerer just kind of got a ham fist. It's like, yeah, you're this one thing. And it works alright in 3.5 because of Shoe Materials is pretty damn powerful. It allows them to not require a component pouch and just cast spells. They got more spells per day, so they were extremely good on that end. They actually got a lot of spells known, a lot more than you think they do. And that was kind of it. They were a little bit more interesting. Also, wizards were much more... You had to prepare a specific spell for a specific slot every day, which meant that wizards were extremely restricted. The thing was, a sorcerer could do whatever the fuck he wanted, provided he knew how to do it. But wizards, they made scrolls and spells, and they were extremely reliant on the materials and things they had. So that was kind of a better point. I feel that the argument for the sorcerer has just weakened, and that's a problem. And then there's bards who have colleges, and I'm like, you do know that by implying that colleges exist in this particular way and they manifest in this particular fashion, that there's no way to justify a character acquiring a bardic college if they are not playing a setting in which a bardic college could logistically exist. Also requiring that there are higher level characters than them who have discovered these techniques and passed them on to them. Like, you can't mechanically tie things down. And the bigger problem I have is, if you look at Bard, I personally believe that a Bard would make a fantastic diplomat, because of all the artistic knowledge that makes him a bit of a noble, like, and the magic gives him a bit of flexibility, they got the skills. Bards are better fucking mages than fucking sorcerers are! God damn. But the thing is, Bards have all this, like, one thing I say, if you could make sorcerers a lot more interesting if you just gave them, like, some proficiencies with weapons. Like, they're warcasters, I don't know. And decouple it, like, the wizards train on casting a lot of spells, and sorcerers cast a few spells, but they cast them exceptionally well, like, really well. Yes, there's some good mana magic, but it doesn't feel as strong. Like, when you read it, you don't get that pop, you know? It doesn't pop from the paper. It needs a bit more pop to it. Which mostly is in writing. Like, I don't know, give an example as to how cool mana magic can be, because when you read it, it's like, oh, these are tiny chunks. You also have to pick mana magic, which is kind of the bad part. Give them all of them. Just give them all of them. Now your sorcerer is fucking nuts. But bards can be diplomats. They don't have to play instruments. Let them take that away. If you're a druid, you have to be able to wild shape, which I don't like. It's why I like archetypes in Pathfinder. My arguments are a bit more strong in my paper because I wrote the fucking text and I actually brought it to give it 5 seconds of my thought. But you get the point. Is I'm grumpy and angry, and I'm a very angry boy. You can take and guess when that one is coming up. Okay, yeah, there's a spider in here, which is nearly impossible to see on the map, but it's down there. Excellent. No. Yeah, this room is a little busy. So yeah, it clearly is like an effect that they specifically attach to the character. Like, I don't know. There's something about the way sorcerers work that just kind of bugs me. Like, the biggest problem I have is that you can only convert things into 5th level or lower, and I know why. It's because the 6th level spells is when things get too powerful. But that doesn't pop off the pages. Like, anyone that's going to look at the mechanical interest is like, okay, so why would I not want to be a wizard? Or a lore master wizard? Or an evocation wizard? Because people that play sorcerers, generally speaking, they're going to play the caster. Because, don't forget, there's a lot of spells to pick from. For some reason, they also have very specific spell lists. Why do you give them a specific spell is the whole point? I just don't know. They should have done away with it. There's no point to it. There's no reason to keep it, is the point. It was a 3.5 thing that was done because of how people just hated the living shit out of preparing spell lists. And in 5e, it's so simple that the main benefit of you don't have to do this shit is kind of gone. Like, I don't know. Oh my god, just start shooting already. God damn. Ah! Why'd it get so sticky? I missed a coin somewhere. I have to. Ba 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 ba. Oh, I did pick up a Bitcoin. It's Big Spiders 3. Jesus, what am I thinking? What was I thinking? So here's the deal, right? Like, they guide you over here, and they're like, hey, take the shortcut that we just made this Kaku demon appear out of. That way you'll miss the actual, like, fucking Bitcoin that you remembered seeing. Like, that's my problem. Oh, God, I have to go through the fucking squid. Oh, no, so this is the other room. I can't complain about them, and then I just do it. Where do I go? Oh yeah, back there. That little segment. You know, I don't like this level in a few places, but I also like it in another set of places. Like, this is not a bad level. This is like a nice little late game level. The stakes are high. So, I know this is going to come up, but I talk about decoupling. What I mean with decoupling is, if you're a fighter, or if you're a monk, you could not just... like, the thing with monks is you're in a monastery, is it's implied. Like, you're working a monastery or something. But what if your character's just a hermit, or this is just his fighting style? Like, he's just a fighter, and this is the fighting style that he develops, you know? Like, decouple. Make a class into a premise. When you're a cleric... What the fuck did I just hear? Oh, it's the kids. When you're a cleric, maybe you have a god, maybe you don't. If you're a paladin... I still think you should be lawful good, because that's kind of where paladins originally come from. But even then, it's like the whole oath thing feels like, oh, so you're basically a warlock, but not really? Also, everyone can heal. Just let wizards heal too. Just for fuck's sake, let them heal too. Don't even pretend. Fucking bards can do it. Warlocks can do it. Sorcerers can do it with a fucking subclass. Why are you lying? Stop lying! So, fun fact, I was originally super fucking worried about this particular spipper because I didn't think I got it because I threw a rocket in there and I was like, oh no, I blew everything up. This is gonna kill me, but... Yeah, I know it was gonna kill me, so... But I also think that races should be decoupled. Here's one why. If mechanically nothing changes, don't enforce anything. Like, you might say, but if anyone can get trans, well, why not? What is the big fucking problem with letting anyone have any racist skill set? The only problem you run into is, well, he doesn't have the right color. And that's racist. The real problem I have with the situation is a little bit more nuanced, and it comes down to the fact that when you're an elf, you get the trance. What if a character just picks up trance? What if you have dark vision because your character lived in the forest for a long time? What if you have the exact lizard folk skill set because you're a fucking weird hermit in the middle of the forest and you're a dwarf and all your dwarfish skills have faded away into nothingness because your recent history is, I'm a fucking lizard man now. I swim. Like, that's a fucking awesome backstory because now you're not a lizard man and you're not a dwarf. You're this weird fucking dwarf. And here's the thing. You could say, well, all lizardmen essentially have the elf statistics, because that's how lizardmen work in this world. They're elves, basically. Or you could say, well, you're the one. And every single lizard folk is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can't hold your breath, you fucking wimp, and they kick you off the streets. You can work with that. That's an interesting character trait, is you're the only fucking dwarf who doesn't have dark vision. Because you have the human skill set and know about skills and shit. Because you were like, you know what? I'm gonna sit next to this torch and read some books. Like, I like the idea of customizability because it lets you fabricate a character out of the mechanics. And I feel that mechanical reinforcements of the theme is important, and for that you need flexibility. Yes, you can say a cleric can hurt people, like the club thing. Like, in AD&D, you couldn't pick bladed weapons or piercing weapons as a cleric because you aren't allowed to shed blood or something like that, or they don't want to shed blood, something like that. That's nice, but you know what's kind of greater is to make that an option. Also, if you ever sit at my table, I will allow whatever the hell you want, as long as there's no mechanical influence. If you want to be a druid and not have wild shape and instead have something like channel divinity, bam! I won't fucking piss in your plate. You want to know why? Because, and let me make a controversial statement. Let me make an extremely controversial statement about min-maxing, which is gonna be the counter argument you're gonna make. And here's my counter argument. The only reason min-maxing is a problem is because you are presenting the player consistently with a situation in which their skill set is good. If you min-max, by definition, there's a min to your max. There's an up and a down. And if, I'm great at fighting creatures with my fireball. Give them a creature that's fire resistant. Present them with an enemy that if they fireball it, they're basically fucked. Put the enemy next to an explosive barrel chain that goes right up to their faces. Do something against it. Or just present them with a non-combat situation. Watch their character fall apart. Like, sure, you should give them the moments where their min-maxing pays off. Where they're like, haha, these creatures are weak to fire. My fireball will clean them up nicely. Give them that cool moment. But also give them a moment where they're like, oh, the fact that all I can do is shoot a good fireball is kind of kicking me in the ass right now. Like, play with it. Have fun with it. Make your character realize the strengths and weaknesses of their character and have that flow into their character. So I think this is important. My lizard folk is a mystic who can't do, like, the restoration stuff. My GM has since said, you know, you can do restoration if you want to. My character had a breakdown and was like, I can't do stuff that clerics can. I can't properly bring people back from the dead or restore their madness and illnesses. And he's, like, super sad about that. Because he's like, well, I'll never be good enough, you know? I'll never be able to achieve what I need to achieve to do the good stuff. To do the good beans, to rub the good bellies. And that's a nice character moment. I mean, I probably should have picked a lizard folk for a mystic. It is a shit matchup. For a lot of reasons. For one, it made one of my initial class choices, Force, kind of useless. But since I've become the, I've kind of embraced the role of not being the damage dealer. I've embraced my role as being the guy in the background who makes sure that everyone else is happy. My job is to make sure everyone else gets to do their job. And that's fine, because we've got a warlock, a fighter, and a ranger who can do some pretty nasty damage. Then we have another person, that Esmeralda lady, so we're fine. I just have to point and shoot. Well, I don't shoot, I just point and then go, pa-pow, and I pull my finger like I'm shooting a gun, and they're like, ha! And I just sit there going, okay, here's advantage on all your attacks. If we had a rogue, I'd be the most busted motherfucker. Because every single round I'd be like, you know what I'm gonna do? Hey, rogue. Hey, rogue. Wanna do that sneak attack? Just point out the guy I want it on. I'd be high-fiving that rogue all day long. and that'd be great. But we don't have that, so instead I use things like Time to Strike, because we have a greatsword warlock who attacks like nuts. Recently picked up second wind, so he doesn't need me to heal him. He gets into a lot of trouble, and he's been falling a lot. So we've been kind of discussing the possibility that I can teach him my mastery of air skill, so he can learn not to take fall damage. I would love that if that were to happen. It's like, if I will teach you anything from my mystic arts, it's how not to fall. It's another one of those, isn't it? So this one's kind of sneaky. This one escaped my grasp for a while. Oh, listen to that sound just going nuts. But yeah, I feel that you should decouple. Decouple. You'll find that it's not a big problem. You'll find that it would actually lead to characters feeling a bit better. Now, if you're a really nice GM and you really want your players to feel a little bit more special, he's like, okay, I'm an Aarakocra and I have the skill set of a dwarf, so I can't fly. Can I still use my wings as like parachutes? Like, they're vestigial, but they're good enough to break my fall. Then you go, sure, as long as you're conscious and it only reduces it by X feet. Like, that's nice. They're like, oh, cool. Now my character has like the physics behind it. And I don't know. Like, cut a little bit of slack, just a little bit, just a smidge, of slack will go a long way. Like give every race dark vision, or no race dark vision, because that is the biggest fucking bullshit you'll run into. My character picked light and darkness just so he could see in the dark, because lizard folk don't get that. Just so he could see. Anyway, next up, I think we're gonna beat the game. You ready to beat the game, kids? I got 5 billion points. Woo!